Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European Indices. We'll cover the DAX, the FTSE and the AEX, but also want to have a look at the S&P 500 today as well. And the reason for that is that on this chart here for the DAX on the daily, we've got wave 3 top in here, intermediate degree, and we're looking for intermediate wave 4 here. So it's rarely that we see the DAX in front of the S&P 500, but with the S&P 500, we've got this top in place now. So if I go to the S&P on the tick chart here, bear with me. So this is just a tick chart, 100 ticks, and we've been looking for wave 3, wave 4, and 5 waves up here for wave 5 of 5 of 5 of 3. So this market has now got this top in play here. I would like to confirm it a little bit more, but it does seem to be on the right track as we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here for wave 1, and then over the next session or so we'll see an A and a B and a C as a bit of a retest back to the 2650, which will also be roughly the 50 and the 61.8% mark. So we'll also be looking for it to short here. But what I want to point out here for the European markets is that once this little, I'll just get a bit more detail here. So we've got wave 1 here in 5 waves. We've got 1 and 2, and we've got 3 and 4, and we're coming down here for 5. Once this finishes here, we'll look for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. Once that's completed for wave 1 and 2 here, then we're going to see this market move down quite quickly from this point into this wave 3 here. And the good news about that, having this move down quickly, and also just the basic concept of having this wave 3 top in play here, is that the US markets will be weaker now. And what that will do is that will speed up the progress to the downside for the European market. So we've been in this particular correction here, and it's been basically large numbers are sticky numbers anyway, and 13,000 here is, well, 13 is the Fibonacci number. That's why I've got it in orange here, because it becomes a major level. It's major important. So what we've been waiting for with this, we understood that this is an impulse wave to the downside. So after a corrective wave, we'll have another impulse wave down. This wave structure here too, by the way, I've got it as an A and a B and a C here for the A wave, and then a B wave and a C wave. That may not be the case. We may get one, we could call this wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. That's something that I'd need to resolve a little bit later on once we get once we finish this sequence down here. So we're not there just yet. We're still on this level here, this major trading level. So just cutting into the 1 hour chart here. And as you know, this is what we've been looking at. So we've seen the move, this wave 3 here. We've seen this move down here, and then we've seen this is definitely a corrective move across here because it's got overlapping wave structures. There was one thing that I wasn't sure about, as you may know when I spoke last time, is that it's quite possible that it's possible that just from this A wave low here, it's possible that all of this could just be an A wave and then a B wave to here. So I've got it in dulled out here, and then having a C wave come back up to the top here and then moving down. And that's still not out of the picture here as well, by the by. Okay, so there was two things that I had here, and this is why we needed a strategy here. So from this low here, we knew we'd get a bounce off the 8 here. 8's the third strongest number, so 1 is the strongest, then 5, then 8, then 3. So this bounce off here, it had two possibilities to going back to this level here, 13.1, and then dropping from that point. Okay, that's one of them. The other one is that it pretty much, in its own way, moves up higher, back up to here and takes those stops out, and then falls from that point there. Okay, so one of the things that we had to do was basically say, well, you can trade up if you want from the low here, but essentially we expect it to be choppy and yeah, just basically messy. But our strategy coming into play is that, in a nutshell, we want to see the 13,000 as a retested resistance. Okay, so retested resistance is when this move down through here, that becomes a reference point price point, okay? And then the market moves back up, but it found support above the level here. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a move down, and that will give us our reference point, and then we're looking for a retest here. That retest on the futures market or stock market will be on lower volume than this move down here. If it's not, if this is more volume than this one coming down, then you know that it's going to continue going up. But we're just looking for that reference point low, the retest, set your orders up 1 point below, and then moving down. When I say 1 point below, you should know the sub levels and the micro levels, the prices regarding the trading levels down into that. So you know you need to be on the right side at the right time, and that means finding the closest largest number and being on the right side of that. But yeah, this situation here is not quite resolved yet, so just be mindful of that. So we're looking for, if this just drops here, that's good. Allow it to drop, because it will go back and retest it, and then you'll have your reference point, and then we can go from that point. So yeah, otherwise this could just dance up to here, and maybe even higher, and then drop. So we really want to be looking for that safe setup. Okay. The AEX is pretty much the same as well over at the Netherlands here. So just on the daily chart, you can see it's got the same picture as the DAX here, and what we're waiting for here is a drop lower in this regard here as well. And also too, just because I've got this as an A and a B and a C here, that's just one possibility. So don't get stuck on that. If this is wave 1 here and this is wave 2 here, then the wave 3 down here will be longer than this move here. So this move here is this length here. If it is an ABC, then there'll be equality between the A and the C wave. But if it's a wave 3 coming down, then it's going to be coming down much lower than that. But expect a bounce. That's the market coming down here will mirror the previous trend going up, and this volume here needs to be, history is not forgotten, and it will play back out here. So we can expect bounces here. This is 500 here, so it's a major level. Then we've got minor levels 1, 2, and 3 here. So we always expect to bounce off 3 here. On the hourly chart here, let's just go in and have a little look at this here. So it's exactly the same with the DAX, but we're looking at 540 here, so we want that as a retested resistance. So unless you're doing options, then you can just pretty much, as I mentioned before, get them up here. It'll probably have the best gearing at that particular point, but I'm not an option expert. We just want the 540 as a retested resistance, and the same thing, this market could push up here higher. I don't know, I doubt it. I think that we'll see. If you get support on top of group 1 here, so it's 1, 2, and 3 on top of 540, so we're in sub-levels now. If you get tested support on that, the market spiked up above it, but it hasn't found support there. If it finds support, then expect it to go to the next level, the 5 here. Then you know that will be testing the higher ground up here. But yeah, look, we're looking for short trades, and the safe trade is the 540 as a retested resistance. You want the move through the 540, you want the retest, you've got your reference point, and then you short from that point there. So yeah, it's all good. But this is definitely impulse, definitely corrective. It's just a matter of figuring out if that's the A, B, C to here and finished, or all of this is the A wave and a B wave and a C wave to here and then down from here. That we just don't know, but we know where to go short, and that's that 540 as a retested resistance. Otherwise, we'll be shorting from up here. The FTSE, it's looking good. So on the bigger picture here, we're looking at wave 3 here, and we're looking at a move down. So it's the same as the other market. So I could just bear with me a sec here, copy this here, copy that here, and wave C down here, something like that. Just save that. And we'll go to the hourly chart. So just to get our bearings, wave 3 here, wave A or wave 1 here. I'm thinking it's wave A. If I think the preference is wave 1, then I would put wave 1 in front of wave A. That's how I normally work. But this market's weaker than the other European markets, because it's dropped low. This correction here on the European markets is the price for those on the last two we looked at is still in that range, and if not above, you know. So the 7.4 here, that would be the 540 on the AEX and the 30,000 on the DAX. So this is under its current level. Do you know what I mean? So this is a weaker one. This is the one to short, really. So in this case here, I'm assuming that we've got 5 waves down here, even though they're a little bit dodgy to count in Elliott terms. But the last few times we've spoken, we were looking for an A and a B and a C wave into the box, or to the 7.4 here. It never made that distance up there, and now we're looking at this little move down here. So once again, the short trade is not really set up here. Just the next short trade, you could have taken the short trade up in this area here. We've got a nice little 5 waves here talked about, but we've still got time here, because basically this here we need to see was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to get a bounce off the 7.3 here again, and this will be in 3 waves here. Okay, and it will go back. Let me just. So if we take that down to the 7.3 here, that's the 61.8% mark. So, and I can see that all that movement in here, that's where the most volume would have been turned over. So that's where the real resistance is. And of course, there's psychology as well. So psychology, we know 5 is the second strongest number. So we've got 73.46. So 73.50 would be a nice place to short it there. So if it fails to find support here, this is the number that would be the pretty much the optimum shorting area there. It may not even reach there though. So one of the other things we can look at is that, I'll just put that up here, but I'll also grab this here too. This move coming up here as an A and a B and a C wave here, a nice safe trade is to put that under the low of the B wave here, and then look to short that. Now, keep the stop out of the way, because it will get really messy. If that's the low of the B wave here, then the market's going to bounce back off here and so on, you know, and then it's going to bounce off here again, because all of this will be the 7.3 here. This is like a ball bouncing. It hits the ground here, bounces back up, hits the ground again, bounces back up, hits the ground here, bounces back up, hits the ground. But you know what I mean? So it's got that diminishing factor, and then we'll move through. But also the other short trade here too is that when it does move through here and retest here again as well, then we need to short it here as well on the reference point low here. Okay, well that's it in a bit of a nutshell. Bit long-winded, but anyway, that's the message. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.